I was reading the comments this morning, and someone was asking me, why am I still single at my age? What are my relationship goals? Do I want kids? Will I ever get remarried again? And I'm about to be 42 in about 2 months. For those of you who are not familiar with my story, just a brief overview. I was married for 12 years. My wife told me about 7 years ago, it's over, she wants a divorce. And at the time we were in small town Wisconsin. So once she initiated this divorce, she had already moved on. She had her new boyfriend, and for a few months, I was not really being productive. I wasn't really improving myself, just kind of moping around until I finally made that decision that if I wanted to attract the kind of women that I want in my life, I'm gonna have to make some changes. So for a few months after the divorce, I didn't really do much, but around the end of December, I decided I was gonna move to Boston. I was going to go to an area where there's more abundance, so I don't have to just settle with a girl that comes along that's probably not gonna be a right fit for me. So I moved to Boston. First 6 months there, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was not very comfortable being around women. I had never really gone on official dates. When I met my wife, it was through Social Circle, and the dates that we had were at house parties, or she'd go to my house, I'd go to her house. So no real dating experience. So for the first 6 months after, I guess for the first 3 months and then 6 months after, so the first 9 months after the separation/divorce, I was just getting comfortable talking to women. I would go on, I don't know, maybe in the 6 months I went on like 10 dates maybe. So nothing, not terrible, but not also great. I'm also, because I don't have the skills of dating, I'm still very much validation seeking. I want them to like me so much that I ended up getting friend zoned a lot. So they were great experiences. They helped me to become a better version of myself, but I was really in no place to find somebody that I was gonna be with long term. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship, so I kind of knew that any of these girls that would probably want to date me, I'm not in that kind of place right now because I'm not the man I need to be. So Boston for about 6 months, had a few dates, nothing super successful, but I was learning and growing. So about 6 months into Boston, I met my buddy Angus, and we had discussed moving to Las Vegas. And he used to live there. I have family from there, so I kind of grew up in the area. So I thought, yeah, it's great. I love the desert weather. There's plenty of girls at the nightclubs. It's a great spot for me to go learn how to approach girls at bars and clubs to get, more abundance into my life. So we moved to Vegas. At the time, I had cashed out my 401k, and I had made money from the house that I sold. So I was basically just going out, living there, just really enjoying the single life. Go out to the nightclubs every night. It was just a big party. It was fun. I learned a lot. But the women I was meeting were very transient. So the girls that I did meet that I kind of hit it off with, they would have to leave. So it was always just kind of short-term little romances. It was great for building up my skill set. It was great for building up that abundance. I did meet some quality girls there as well. I did mention Jenny in one of the videos, and she was great. We dated for a little while. She was really the first girlfriend I had after the divorce, but she lived in Canada, so we didn't get a ton of time to spend together. So it was always just on and off. She'd come visit me, I'd go visit her. We'd take some little trips here and there. But as we're spending more time together, I'm starting to see these red flags in her. She started to have some jealousy issues. She'd also be very quick to anger. And because of my experience with my ex and all her red flags that I started noticing, I knew this was not going to be the kind of relationship I wanted. In the past, prior to my divorce, she would have been the girl I would have settled with because I thought she was very attractive. She was I would say she was out of my league at the time, just looks-wise, not because at the time I was growing into a more dominant masculine man. so I had a lot of value. But physically, she was very attractive, and that's all I would have looked for prior to the divorce. But now, since I've been divorced, I know that although she is beautiful, that is not enough for somebody you're going to spend most of your time with. So it didn't end up working out with her. I stayed in Vegas for about a year and a half, just having fun. Didn't really meet any of the girls that I really wanted to settle with, but because I was having that abundance and I was building my social skills, my social circle, meeting like-minded guys, I was having fun hanging out with them, I was not too worried about finding anybody to settle with. So then I ended up getting a job because I was just using my 401k, so I didn't really have I wasn't working. So I finally did get a job in Philadelphia where they were going to teach me to do Android development. So I flew down to Philadelphia. I wasn't really going out to meet anybody. I was more focused on my job and just trying to improve at that. I did get a couple dates from online dating, which I think was just kind of by luck because my profile was not very good. And they were fine, like they were good people. But I was still, because I knew I wasn't going to stay there very long, I didn't really pursue anything more than just a couple dates. And then, this is like 3 years after the relationship. I've been meeting some quality girls. Like, I'm not saying that they're not out there, but because of the lifestyle I was living, didn't really know what I wanted. I didn't really want to settle down with anybody. I didn't really see anybody that would met my lifestyle that I was looking for. So then I moved to Philadelphia. Same kind of thing. I was only there for a few months, doing some training. And then I get hired on to a job in Michigan. And I was going to go home. I was going home to pack my stuff in Wisconsin, just get ready to move out there. I didn't think that was going to be a good idea because I thought it was going to be very similar to Wisconsin, where I'm not going to have a ton of options. I'm probably going to have to just settle. And I was thinking that my skill set had improved, that might not be a problem. But I don't know what the case would have been because COVID happened. So then for a year and a half, I'm in my parents' basement, locked down. I was just supposed to go there to pack some stuff, move to Michigan, and within a week, everything was locked down. I wasn't going anywhere. So a year and a half, I'm not dating anybody. I'm not trying to date girls in Wisconsin. I didn't have an online dating profile. It's getting kind of loud over there. So another year and a half goes by, still single. Just in COVID, I was working remote doing the software development, so I finally decided that I was going to move to Austin, Texas, and I had a blast there. I met a lot of good people. Did the emo bingo, if you ever heard of that, 80s night. I learned a lot about myself and how to go out, be social, be sober, and just make a lot of friends. And I was having some success on dates again. I did mention my video yesterday. The worst first date I ever had was in Austin. She had come from online dating. I still didn't put in the work.
I saw you.
Did you? Hey, what's up, guys? I still didn't put in the work to improve my dating profile, so the dates I was getting, I think, were just by luck, and probably why I was not attracting my type of girls, because I wasn't really filtering out in any way. I was still kind of back in scarcity because COVID had just happened, and I haven't really talked to any girls for a year and a half. So just getting used to everything. And I kind of realized that Austin's probably not the best place that I want to meet girls. I did enjoy my time there, but it wasn't my favorite place. So I visited my friends in Playa del Carmen for 3 days. And within those 3 days, I had abundance of options. I got down there, I did a photo shoot. I really improved my online dating skills, and I was able to start getting dates consistently. And once I started getting out of that scarcity, I started to see even more the kind of girls that I do want to date. And I started realizing that they weren't in the previous cities, which is why I never wanted to settle down with them. they were great girls, but I knew that they weren't a fit for my life, my lifestyle. So it really opened up my eyes to that. So once I left Playa after those 3 days, I went back to Texas. I immediately decided that Texas is not where I want to be. So I moved into Playa del Carmen. I work remote. There's no reason I need to stay here. So picked up my stuff, moved to Playa del Carmen. This would have been, I guess, 2022. And I lived there for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years in total. In between, I did move to Barcelona for a little bit. But in Playa, because I had my online dating profile fixed, I was getting better at just meeting girls on the street and talking to them. I started to have an abundance of options. And I started to really see that I wanted to find the perfect girl for me, because if she wasn't, I didn't need to settle anymore. I would have settled in the past because I would have just been like, well, this is the best that's gonna come along. I'm kind of trapped where I am. I'm not the guy I wanna be, so I'll just take what's good enough. But Mexico really opened my eyes. I did have a couple great girlfriends there as well, but I was just not ready to settle down. There was just so much freedom in being single. I didn't have to ask anybody, can I buy this? I could go wherever I want. I'm in New Orleans now. Like, I just decided I wanted to come down here. I wanted to visit my friends. I wanted to go to see alligators. I didn't need to ask anybody about it. I just picked up and left. My life does not need to be, I don't need to run anything by anybody. And I don't want to just give up that freedom for anybody. So in Mexico, it was another situation as well where I'm not trying to just give up my freedom, but also I don't know if they can even come to the US. I don't really want to just settle down and get married. So it took me, I dated them for a while, and then I had to go back. I had to leave Mexico for a little bit I had to go back to Mexico I had to leave Mexico for a little bit for a medical issue. And once I got back to Wisconsin, I got that all taken care of. I had gotten fired from my job as a software developer, which I absolutely had coming because I was terrible at it. I didn't try. I was really just a shithead employee, which ended up hurting me because then I don't have confidence in myself. Like, I'm not doing a very good job. I know I'm not doing a good job. So how am I supposed to feel good about myself? So then I lost my job. And then for 2 years, me and Ryan built up the cleaning business. So we weren't really focused on dating in Wisconsin because I've gone over this before, not our types of girls, not really a lot of options. So that brings me up to Minneapolis just last year. And I've met some good girls here. I've had good experiences here. But because I'm not wanting to stay in Minneapolis long term, I'm planning on leaving in July when my lease is up. I'm back to moving again and trying to figure out where I want to be long term. So this is kind of my story up until now. I guess I did forget to mention Barcelona. I did have a great girl there as well, but again, there's the downside of the passport bros where you meet these great girls, but you can only stay in a place for so long. So they're like kind of mini short-term romances, and they're great, but my focus at the time was to travel and to have experiences. So I was not looking to settle down with anybody. They were great. I don't know that they would have been a fit for me. I just didn't have the time to find out because I didn't want to just rush into moving in with somebody or rush into a relationship when I didn't know where I was going to be. So the whole point of this story was just to share where I am now, just to kind of illustrate that it is important that you are taking the time to find out who's going to be a fit for your life. I'm not looking to give up my freedom for just anybody. They have to meet the standards that I want, because if they don't, I know that I can go other places to meet girls that will be a good fit for my life. I want them to be location independent. It's important for me to be able to move, to go where I want. If I want to go on and travel, I want them to come with me. I want them to be a fit for me. I don't want any restrictions. I just want to be able to say, hey, let's go. I'm also not looking to move in with somebody right away. So it's difficult to just be moving around and not know where you're going to be. And then if a girl wants to come be with you, it's very difficult for that to happen if they don't move in with you. So I'm kind of in that situation. I don't know. The whole point of this was just to say, you know, there are great women out there. I know that a lot of the guys in the comments were saying, you know, they're having trouble meeting high quality women. Women are gold diggers. They just want you for dinners and drinks. And I don't believe that at all. I've met a lot of wonderful women. They're not necessarily the perfect fit for my life at the moment. That doesn't mean that they're not great. That doesn't mean that maybe in the future I wouldn't have wanted something more with them. Circumstances just didn't allow it. But I'm not by any means wealthy. I don't use my money to get women. When I go on dates, it's to go get drinks and to get to know them. I'm not buying them fancy dinners. I'm not buying them things. So if you have these mindsets, I think they're limiting you. You're probably going to start attracting those kind of girls if this is the energy that you're putting out. If you think all women are gold diggers, that mindset is going to be toxic towards women that aren't gold diggers. So I believe in personal accountability. If you do have these kind of mindsets, I would highly recommend looking into things that you can do to improve yourself rather than just generalizing that all women are bad. Maybe it's something that you could work on. Could you make yourself more social? Could you be more masculine and dominant? Could you lose some weight and go to the gym? Could you improve your style? These are things that are all in your control. You as a man can improve your value, sexual marketplace value. That's one of the things that I've been working on for the last 7 years. It's important to me to just become as valuable as I can. That's all within my control. That's the personal responsibility aspect. So if you do think this way, I don't blame you. I mean, it's painful to come across these women that don't want to, you might not be meeting the highest quality women, and that can be very frustrating. But don't let that stop you from not trying. I guarantee you there's plenty of high quality women out there. They want to meet high value, high quality guys. So kind of see what other things that you could do that would maybe help you attract these higher quality women. I'm not saying what you're not doing is not working. Maybe you need to go to a different city. Maybe you need to go to a different country. Maybe you need to, I don't know, there's a lot of options. But I don't think just swearing off women because you've had a couple bad experiences is probably the answer. That's just my opinion. I think if you can improve yourself, get on more dates, you'll have that abundance. You'll see that there are really high quality women, and maybe it'll fit your lifestyle. Mine's been very transient. I've been moving around a lot. I haven't really been wanting to settle down. So it's really not been on the forefront of my mind. I do want kids. I'm thinking probably when I'm 45. So that gives me about 3 more years. Probably want to date a girl for about a year before we have kids. And then not quite sure on marriage yet. But I do want a family. I do want kids. But I want to make sure she is the right fit for me. It's getting kind of loud there. I want to make sure she's the right fit for me, that our goals are aligned. I don't need to settle. I've already proven to myself that there are quality women out there. I can find them. So I don't need to just settle with a girl because I'm lonely, or maybe I just assume she's the only one I'll get. I'm all right with being alone too. There's a lot of freedom being single. I don't have to talk to anybody about where I'm going, what I'm spending my money on, what time I'm going to bed, who I'm going to meet up with. Like, there's a lot of things that I had to, I guess, maybe not hide, but I just had to suppress when I was married. Like, there was a lot of things a lot of red flags, didn't really feel great the whole time. But I think that's it for this video. I don't know if that's helpful. That's just my story, where I've come from. That's why I'm still single at 42. I'm not just looking to settle down just to settle down. I want to meet the right person. I do want kids with them. So it's not something you take lightly. They say, I don't know what it is, 50 to 70% of people who remarry get divorced again. And I think that's a lot because they don't go through this stage of improvement, meeting the right people. I think a lot of times, I guess I can't speak for them, but I feel like if I stayed in Wisconsin, I would have been that same statistic because I wouldn't have had abundance and I would have just selected again out of scarcity, which just drives home the point. Work on yourself, get as much abundance as you can, and make the right decisions based on data. So I think that's it for today. I'm in Nawlins. I did a fun bus tour, saw the cemetery. I'll make a video about that this weekend. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any tips or suggestions on things to see in New Orleans, I'll be here for another day. I'm gonna go see some alligators tomorrow. I'm gonna go to a jazz club tonight. You can already hear the noise. But yeah, that's it for today. Enjoy your weekend, holiday weekend. We'll see you later.